Was Prince Harry right to have a bit of a dig at Donald Trump? Was it even a dig? Let's have a little look.
You're an actual prince. Why would you want to be in one of those movies?
Well, you Americans are obsessed with Christmas movies, and you're clearly obsessed with royalty, so why not?
Hold on. Look, I wouldn't say we're obsessed with royalty.
Really? I heard you elected a king.
That's a fair point. No, he's got a point.
That was a reference to concerns among Democrats and other Americans about the president being a threat to American democracy. People turned out in their millions in October for the so-called No Kings protests all across the country. And critics are worried that the dig might annoy the president, especially after the king hosted him at Windsor Castle earlier this year on that unprecedented second state visit. So, was that fair of Harry, or is this just a light-hearted joke? I want your calls on that, 0207 862 2222. Lowri, we're going to get to a break soon, but just quickly, what's your first impression? You saw that clip. Is he out of order?
I just think he's living in, California, isn't it, where he lives? And he's followed that kind of sort of left-wing rhetoric, and he's just spouting what all his friends are doing. I mean, Oprah Winfrey, they're all telling him stuff. I just think, if there was any way that you should say he should not be a royal, this is it. Because if Prince William would
never say...
But
he's not a royal, is he?
Well, he's a non-working royal.
Yeah, OK,
that's
a good point.
He's still royal.
Good point.
They're supposed to stay out of politics. He just knew this was a kind of, clever left-wing thing to say.
Right. OK. We'll find out what Marvin has to say. I suspect he might disagree. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to be taking your calls on this as well. What do you think? Was Prince Harry right to have a bit of a dig at Trump? Before the break, we asked the Titanic's maiden voyage set sail from which city? And the answer is Southampton. I thought that was a trick question, because it was built in Belfast. It obviously went from Belfast, but that doesn't count as a voyage.
No.
Right, welcome. If you just joined us, we're live on 5. Marvin and Lowri are here with me. Don't forget, later we're asking if we have a duty to invite elderly family members over for Christmas. But now, let's get straight back into whether Prince Harry was right to have a dig at Trump. He calls in now. We've heard from Lowri. You thought he was given his lines from
I just thought he's become
California.
California.
Writing his script. OK, he's gone a bit California. Marvin, do you agree?
I do agree, but you know what? I think first and foremost it's a joke, right? And I think a massive tenet of freedom of speech is just to be funny, especially at people at power, right? I think the second thing is he is a non-working royal. He basically is unemployed, so he might as well enjoy his time by participating in jokes. I think the greater part of it is that he is expanding who he is as a person. He's on that platform.
Is he? Really?
And I think the actual person, the subject of the joke, agrees with him. So I've heard Donald Trump joke about he is the king of America.
Well, he put out that AI thing on a plane. He's wearing a crown and he's dumping...
He agrees. The American public agrees that he is acting like a king. He has expanded his executive power beyond the normal reach of a president. So I don't understand what the misnomer is.
Do you honestly think that Harry is kind of embarking on this great kind of expansion of his person? He's got nothing to do. He's on there. He's on there because he pops up in his wife's Christmas film thing. He pops up and says one line, and that's all he does. He doesn't do anything else. He kind of he's
being himself.
Pointless person,
and he's very happy. Clearly, look how happy he looks here. Look how happy he looks in that setting.
Why do people get so wound up about Harry and Meghan?
They hate the fact that he has found a life beyond the royals.
He hates the UK, as does she.
What's your evidence that he hates the UK?
Well, because there's things he said about the royal family also. I mean, we have to rewind back to when they left the country. It was just before COVID, a point at which we really needed our royal family. The Queen was genuinely a kind of sort of calming presence, and they scarpered off at the moment when actually he had a role he could have played, and he didn't do that.
His dad and older brother both stopped talking to him and both planted stories about him and his wife.
Because he had a terrible wife.
Okay, let's not go back digging into that. But is he?
The last time we saw him, he was lurching about on a Ring doorbell wasn't he? And
I don't know what that
unable to find the right house in London. I mean, he's
for
not
someone
a
who
man.
doesn't like him, you sure do know a lot about what he's been up to. Is it wise, Marvin, though,
Yes.
to be making jokes about Donald
Yes.
Trump? We know that Donald Trump doesn't like jokes being made about him. We know that Stephen Colbert, in fact, the show that Harry was appearing on, Donald Trump has managed to get rid of Stephen Colbert. He's leaving early next year. He's not going to have that show renewed. Donald Trump had quite a lot to do with it.
And also the figures are pretty dire. So actually, if it was a successful show, it wouldn't have gone
Isn't he
anywhere.
number one for that show?
That slot is
he's
not
number
doing
one.
that.
I don't think that's.
He's number one.
I don't think the figures had much to
I
do
think
with
they
why
did.
Colbert
I think they did.
is gone, because other hosts are still on and they've got lower figures than Colbert. But Donald Trump had said
Yes.
about Prince Harry, said, "Oh, leave him alone. He's got enough problems with his wife. She's terrible." So there is a sort of a dig happening between the two of them.
That's a tiny response. By the way, listen, if you talk about my wife in that way, right, I want to say more things to you, right? I think that's a tiny response in relation to what he has said. They're having their little thing. President Trump has already separated the idea between Harry and Meghan and the royal family, and the royal family are suckling up enough to Trump for him to get over it. So as far as I'm concerned, right, they'll be fine. But I think he's right in communicating how he feels about someone mentioning his wife in that way.
Kim has got in touch from Surrey. Kim, welcome to the show. How do you see it, Kim? Was he right to have a dig?
So I think when you look at the whole thing of Harry and how he has literally dragged his family through the mud, I think his behavior is unbecoming a prince. And quite, if the king can remove Andrew's title, he could surely remove Harry's title.
On what grounds do you think the king would remove Harry's title?
You're on a talk show, you're cracking jokes. I just think, what is that saying? Familiarity breeds whatever.
Kim, are you
such a level?
Kim, are you likening Prince Harry's behaviour with Andrew's behaviour around young adults?
No, I'm just saying that his behaviour is unbecoming. I mean, he's stooping to the low of talk shows and cheap jokes.
I think, Kim,
come on,
Kim,
what do you need to do to make money?
Yeah.
Well, so here's the issue, which has confused me a little bit. A lot of people think that they should not be working royals, which is fair enough, and they live in a different country. They've chosen a different life for themselves, and in order for them not to be working royals and not supported by us, the taxpayer, through the sovereign grant, then they have to earn money somehow. But then when they go out and earn that money, people over here get upset that they're earning that money.
Just give up the titles, though.
Just take it. If you don't want it, take it. I'm sure they will
Kim,
survive.
So Kim, what do you think they should be doing? I mean, I detect from what you've been saying that you long for the days where the monarchs were sort of rarely seen and didn't appear on talk shows. And I think quite a lot of people will identify with that. But if they're no longer taking money from the taxpayer, then why does it upset people if they're earning money by appearing on talk shows?
Because if he was just Harry, Harry Mountbatten Windsor or whatever it would be called, nobody would pay him any attention.
Do you think
Meghan Markle wouldn't pay any attention to her if she didn't throw her title around everywhere she went. But I just think it's, be professional.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
If you're going to be a prince, act like one.
Thank you, Kim. What do you make of what Kim said there? Lowri,
I think she speaks for many people.
But do you think if they didn't have the Sussexes, and if he wasn't Prince Harry, do you think that all the attention that they have would go?
Well, I think a lot of their ways to earn money would go, definitely. They particularly she uses her title very much. I watched a clip of the reason he's on the talk show is because he makes this walk-on appearance in her Christmas holiday special.
And this is a special that you've seen?
Well, I've seen the clips of it.
For someone who doesn't like them, again.
I mean, it feels like almost you're stalking them. It's all over Facebook.
Right, okay,
and the hilarious thing, like watching this, is there's her making crackers. And I thought, who has the time she's a female founder, and she's quite busy apparently, to make their own crackers.
But
and he wanders on
because of her royal title
and says, "Oh, your gumbo's not as good as your mum's," and that's it.
She's only relevant because of her royal title, and everyone that loves the royals dislikes her, then that wouldn't be her audience. She has relevancy, and she's a person of note before she met Harry.
Oh, a very minor
and he will
actress
continue,
she was.
and he will continue to be a person of note because everybody loved his mother. He will always mean something in the hearts of people, and he will have a separate audience, which he does now. The belief that it's only because of the monarchy and the royal family, that's the only reason why the press continue to hound him. That's nothing to do with why people watch the actual stuff that he creates.
Let's take another call. Jasvir is in Derby. Welcome to the show. What are your thoughts? Do you think a prince should not be appearing, like Kim was saying, in something like a talk show?
Well, I think he's got his own, his own opinion to things. I think he should be able to do what he wants. If he wants to have a dig at Donald Trump, it's fair to do so. But his, freedom of speech and all. That's what.
But the problem, though, Jasvir, is that if he is that weird sort of place that they find themselves in, because Kim was right. He still is Prince Harry. He's still the Duke of Sussex. They are the Sussexes, so they still are part of the royal family, even though they're not royal, working royals. So whilst he is occupying that role, should he be making jokes about Donald Trump, someone that his father spent a fortune on and gave that unprecedented second visit? It rubs up against the wrong way, doesn't it? It doesn't make any sense.
Not really, because he's independent. He's moved away from the royal family. He's earning his own money now. Meghan Markle, I respect her for moving away from the royal family. If she felt she wasn't comfortable in that situation, she moved away from it and earns her own money. So they're entitled to have their own opinion. I don't think you should have a dig at Prince Harry or Meghan, like with the conversation yesterday, why, Meghan and everything, what she's doing, why she got her own business. They should just leave him alone, I think, and that's the reason why they're riling him up. The less you say about him, hopefully he'll just, get on with his life, and he's entitled to have his opinion, I think.
Okay, well, Lowri, what do you make of that?
Well, their ability to earn money, and yes, they have a lot of money, but they have a very, very expensive lifestyle. He keeps suing papers, and that costs quite a lot of money. They have a very expensive lifestyle, and they need to make money, and their titles are integral to that. I mean, it's that, the worldwide privacy tour. We all want our privacy, but actually, I'm going to go on a talk show anyway. And it's not even controversial what he says. It's so obvious. Oh, well, of course, he's going to say something that's going to have a dig at Trump. It'd be much more controversial for him to be pro-Trump, actually. But no, he has to kind of follow the progressive line that he hears from all around him where he is.
Jasvir, thank you. Let's take another. David is in Merseyside. David, welcome to the show. What would you like to say?
Well, I suggest, he's going a bit too far. Why can't they be like adults? Prince Harry and Donald Trump sort it between themselves instead of bringing a load of other people. It's wrong. I don't agree with it.
Well, he's just making a joke, David. But the question is that, I suppose some people have said it's not fitting for a prince.
I find it quite offensive.
You think it's offensive what he said?
Yeah.
What part of what he said do you think is offensive?
Well, he's slagging people off. I'll tell you what, you've got Prince Charles, King Charles. Yeah. He's not well man, so why don't we get a decent king in? Like, we lost Diana and everything, and there's a lot of situations with the royalty I struggle with.
Yeah, I think you're not alone in that. Thank you, David.
Can I just say one last final thing? Is that I find it really strange that the media are more passionate about Harry and Meghan, and they don't question why Richard Tice and Isabel Oakenshaw are living in Dubai under Sharia law. They never mentioned that. Because where's your focus? These are the things that really matter to real people. This doesn't matter in the same way that matters. You have sitting MPs living abroad under a law that they say is dangerous. That should be investigated much more.
But it's totally different.
I'm here to create pictures and paintings.
Well, just redirection away from the issue at hand.
Totally different. Well, look, thank you for that. Thank you for your calls.